Well, this is just a quick video I made for the Haas USMC on checking forcing cones. This is a forcing cone gauge. It actually has one line here which actually represents a 2 3/4 inch case, has another line here that actually represents a 3-inch case, and another line for 3.5. So what you have to do is you open up a shotgun, you stick this in, and this whole line for the 2 3/4 inch case should be inside this chamber. You should no longer be able to see it. This one actually is, so it looks like probably pretty close to a 1/4 inch too short. I have another vintage shotgun here, an old hammer gun I haven't restored yet, and you can see in this one it's probably 1/8 of an inch shy of being in all the way. Now, the purpose of this gauge is when you're shooting in the old days paper cartridges, paper hold cartridges, this plastic stuff in the plastic shell when it's fired actually folds out and ends up about that far down the bore of the gun. Now, the forcing cone area is the area that tapers from the chamber into the bore. If the forcing cone is too short, what happens is this plastic folds out into the forcing cone area and actually constricts the shot before it goes into the barrel. In other words, it reduces it down to smaller than the bore diameter, which should be, in a 12 gauge, is 729 thousandths of an inch, so just under 3/4 of an inch. The way this is accomplished to fix this, to use what you call a forcing cone reamer, which is this right here. And what this does is actually goes in and moves the forcing cone area further forward and also reduces the angle so it's not as sharp. A lot of times if you look down the bore of one of these old shotguns from the breech, you'll see what looks like a chamber and then a really steep step down to the bore. If you've actually reamed one of these out with this reamer, it actually has a very gradual transformation from the chamber to the bore and actually reduces the pressure as the shot column goes into the forcing cone and then into the chamber. At any rate, I hope this explanation helps a little bit, but this is also what could probably be causing your shotgun to actually not open properly. The other thing that actually happens in shotguns which have actually not had the forcing cones done, and you fire modern shells out of them, is it tends to actually loosen up the hinge pin area, which this one fortunately is very virgin. No one ever actually abused it, but there's a pin that goes through right here, which oftentimes when these things loosen up, you have to take out the old pin and then use basically a taper pin reamer, and you have to actually clamp the receiver to the barrels and then clamp the front of the thing back onto the receiver to get the barrel in the tightest possible position you want, and then you bore that out with a taper pin reamer and then drive in a new taper pin, and that's how you tighten those things up. But that's another story or another video. At any rate, I hope this helped us. I will look forward to seeing some more of your awesome gunsmithing. Oh, another thing, P.S. some other really cool things you can do with shotguns. This is an old Ithaca, which I've actually converted into a double rifle. I haven't completed it yet. I still have to regulate the barrels, which is actually getting both of these to actually point or shoot to the same point of impact at 100 or 200 yards, whichever range I actually choose. I still have the stock. I have to finish carving it out. I have it all inletted and stuff for all the parts and onto the tang. So that's pretty much all ready to go. Should be a pretty fun gun when it's done. It's going to be actually a hybrid 223, or not 223, 22-250 with a rim on it. and as you can see, it's already chambered, barrels are in. I reworked the extractors. It should be a pretty cool gun when it's done. I also have another one here, which is in 4570. You can see the size of the bores, and there's a regulating block already in place. I usually just use a hose clamp and move the things around, and once I get into the right position, I silver solder the barrel wedge in. I always regulate these with the scope on it. This one I actually have to build a new stock for. I'm going to have to set the camera down for a second. But as you can see, it's all chambered and everything for 4570. Did all the extractor work on it already. This is another one that'll be kind of fun when it's done. I'll get a time over this winter to actually finish this. Yeah, I gotta make a stock. That one's pretty well fucked up.